Imagine standing on the banks of the Mississippi River 1,000 years ago, before the arrival of Europeans, before the maps, the colonies, the railroads, and the cities. This vast land was already home to one of the most powerful civilizations in North America. A civilization of great cities, towering monuments, complex religion, and rulers whose authority reached across thousands of miles. At its center stood a city larger than London at the time, a city of earthen pyramids, a city of astronomical knowledge, a city whose population rivaled the greatest urban centers of medieval Europe. Its name was Cahokia, and it ruled the world of the Mississippi. Tonight, we explore the rise of a forgotten empire, the Empire of the Mississippi. To understand this civilization, we must first understand the river. The Mississippi River system is one of the greatest waterways on Earth. Stretching from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico, it forms a network of rivers that connect the entire center of North America. For ancient peoples, this was more than geography. It was a highway. Goods, ideas, and beliefs traveled along these waters. Communities formed along fertile floodplains where crops could thrive. Over centuries, farming villages began to grow. Maize agriculture spread across the region around the year 800 AD. Corn changed everything. With reliable food surpluses, populations expanded. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. And eventually, a powerful cultural system emerged. Today, we call it the Mississippian civilization. Around the year 1050 AD, something remarkable happened. Near the meeting point of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers, a massive city began to rise. This city was Cahokia. Located in what is now southern Illinois, Cahokia quickly became the largest urban center north of Mexico. At its peak, archaeologists estimate its population may have reached 20,000 to 40,000 people. For comparison, London at that time may have had only about 15,000. Cahokia was not a simple settlement. It was carefully planned. At its heart lay a vast ceremonial plaza, an open space covering more than 40 acres. Surrounding this plaza stood dozens of massive earthen mounds. These were not natural hills. They were built by human hands, basket by basket, earth carried for generations. More than 120 mounds once stood across the city. Each served a purpose. Some were temples. Some were elite residences. Some were burial sites. But one mound towered above them all. Monk's Mound. Rising nearly 30 meters high, it remains the largest earthen structure in North America. From its summit, the rulers of Cahokia could look across the entire city, a city alive with people, markets, ceremonies, and power. Cahokia was more than a city. It was a sacred landscape. Everything about its design reflected spiritual beliefs. The layout of the mounds aligned with celestial events. Archaeologists have discovered what appears to be a massive wooden circle near the city. This structure is often called Woodhenge. It consisted of tall wooden posts arranged in a circle. These posts likely functioned as a solar calendar. When the sun rose at specific positions along the horizon, the alignment with the posts marked important days of the year. Solstices, equinoxes, ceremonial festivals. This suggests that the people of Cahokia possessed advanced astronomical knowledge. Their leaders may have been both political rulers and spiritual intermediaries, individuals who interpreted the movements of the heavens. In many ways, Cahokia functioned like a ceremonial capital, a place where religion and power were inseparable.
But Cahokia's influence did not stop at its city walls. Evidence of its reach stretches across thousands of miles. Archaeologists have found materials in Cahokia that came from distant regions. Copper from the Great Lakes, shells from the Gulf of Mexico, stone tools from the Appalachian Mountains, and obsidian from the Rocky Mountains. This was not accidental. It reveals a vast trade network. Rivers served as the arteries of this system. Canoes traveled up and down the Mississippi and its tributaries. Traders carried exotic goods between distant communities. With trade came cultural influence. The religious symbols, artistic styles, and mound-building traditions of Cahokia began spreading across the continent. Scholars refer to this cultural sphere as the Mississippian world. From modern-day Wisconsin to Florida, from Oklahoma to the Carolinas, communities began building their own mound centers. Cities like Moundville, Etowah, and Spiro became powerful regional hubs. Together, they formed a loose network of societies linked by shared beliefs and trade. Cahokia stood at the center. What kind of leaders ruled this empire? Archaeological discoveries offer clues. One of the most famous is known as Burial Mound 72. Inside this mound, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a powerful elite individual. He had been buried on a bed of shell beads arranged in the shape of a falcon. Around him were elaborate offerings, finely crafted arrowheads, jewelry, and ceremonial objects. But the burial contained something darker. The remains of dozens of other individuals were found nearby. Some appear to have been sacrificed. This suggests that Cahokia's society had strong social hierarchies. A ruling elite held immense authority. Religious ceremonies may have reinforced their power. Like many ancient civilizations, the rulers of Cahokia likely claimed a connection to the spiritual world. Their authority was both political and sacred. At its peak, Cahokia was a place of constant movement. Farmers arrived with harvests of maize, squash, and beans. Craftspeople shaped pottery, carved stone, and hammered copper into ornaments. Traders brought goods from distant lands. Pilgrims may have traveled to the city for ceremonies and festivals. Smoke rose from thousands of homes. Children played in the plazas. Priests watched the sky. And from atop Monk's Mound, leaders oversaw a city that represented the height of Mississippian civilization. For centuries, this world flourished. But like many great civilizations, it would not last forever. Around the year 1200 AD, signs of trouble began to appear. Archaeologists see evidence of environmental stress. Deforestation increased as wood was needed for construction and fuel. Population pressure may have strained local resources. Climate shifts could have brought unpredictable floods or droughts. Social tensions may also have played a role. Evidence of defensive walls suggests conflict or instability. Some neighborhoods were abandoned. Construction of new mounds slowed. Over time, the population of Cahokia began to shrink. By the year 1350, the once great city was largely deserted. Its plazas fell silent. Its temples crumbled. Grass slowly covered the great mounds. The empire of the Mississippi faded into memory. Centuries later, European explorers arrived in North America, but by then, Cahokia was already gone. When Hernando de Soto traveled through the southeastern United States in the 1500s, he encountered many Native American societies. Some still lived in mound centers, but none matched the scale of Cahokia. The great city had vanished long before Europeans set foot on the continent. For generations, its massive mounds puzzled early settlers. Some even refused to believe Native Americans had built them. But modern archaeology has confirmed the truth. The Mississippian peoples were the architects of one of the most remarkable civilizations in North American history. Today, the remains of Cahokia still stand, just across the Mississippi River from modern-day St. Louis. Visitors can walk among the mounds that once defined the skyline of an ancient metropolis. From the summit of Monk's Mound, the view stretches across the same fertile floodplain that supported a thriving civilization nearly 1,000 years ago. It is a powerful reminder. Long before the United States existed, long before European colonization, North America was home to complex societies with cities, trade networks, science, and religion. The story of Cahokia challenges the myth that this continent was empty or undeveloped. It was not. It was alive with civilizations, some of which we are only beginning to understand. Although Cahokia itself disappeared, its cultural legacy endured. Many Native American traditions today carry echoes of the Mississippian world. Symbols like the falcon, the sun, and the serpent appear in artifacts across the region. These symbols formed part of a belief system sometimes called the Southeastern Ceremonial Complex. It linked communities across vast distances. Through myth, ritual, and art, the memory of the Mississippi civilization survived long after the city itself was gone. And even today, the earth still holds secrets beneath the soil. new discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of this lost world. The Empire of the Mississippi reminds us that history is often deeper than we imagine. Beneath modern highways and cities, beneath farms and forests, the traces of forgotten civilizations remain. Cities rise, empires flourish, and sometimes they disappear, but their stories never truly vanish. They wait to be rediscovered. And the deeper we dig into the past, the more mysterious North America becomes. But the Mississippi civilization was only one piece of a much larger story. Far to the southwest of Cahokia, in the deserts and mesas of the American Southwest, another extraordinary society was rising. A people who built cities into cliffs, who engineered roads across the desert, and who vanished just as mysteriously as they appeared. In the next episode, we will explore one of the greatest archaeological mysteries in North America, the mystery of the ancestral Puebloans. If you enjoy uncovering the forgotten civilizations of our world, be sure to subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey across time, because the past is far more surprising than we think, and we're only just getting started.